the best time to buy a property is now. There's never the perfect time to buy a property. The last time to invest in property was 20 years ago. The best time to invest in property was 20 years ago. The best time to invest in property is now. We are now currently in that market. This episode of the Wealth and Business Podcast is brought to you by our partner and sponsor, Ramsey & White. Ramsey & White is an award-winning specialist intermediary covering property, finance, wealth management, and estate agency. The Ramsey & White team can help you secure or source funding for your buy-to-lets, your HMOs, your commercial development, holiday lets, portfolio acquisition. They also offer financial reviews covering pension and investment. Not restricted by lenders or locations, the team at Ramsey & White will help you build momentum covering or growing your investment portfolio. Feel free to contact Ramsey & White, who is our partner and our sponsor for this episode of the Wealth and Business Podcast. The links to contacting Ramsey & White will be somewhere around the show notes. Make sure to reach out to them, as these individuals, this company has actually helped me build my property portfolio over the last 6 years. Hey, welcome to another episode of my solo series on the Wealth and Business Podcast. On this episode, I want to specifically talk about what property strategy is still working in this current market. One of the strategies that's still very actively working in this current market is the buy, refurb, refinance property strategy. The beauty about the buy, refurbish, refinance strategy is all about adding value, and it's all about getting most of your money out as long as you can wait for capital appreciation. For example, within 6 months of you doing the first project, or within a time frame of about 5 years to 10 years where you can release even more equity out of your current property deal. Now, we're currently in a very interesting market. We're in a market that is classified, to me, in my own sort of knowledge, is a buying market. Because a buying market means there is a decline in the market, so there is less buying appetite in the market. And less buying market, appetite in the market at the moment is because just around about 2-3 years ago, especially in 2020 and 2021, there was a lot of people rushing in to buy because number one, government were giving a lot of bounce back loans. A lot of people wanted to basically get onto the property ladder as quickly as possible because the government basically, introduced things like stamp duty holidays. And what that allowed a lot of buyers to do is to literally get into the market. But at the moment, a lot of these incentives has been taken away from the market. So the interest rate has gone crazy. Obviously, if you buy a house now, you need to pay, the appropriate stamp duty. And as well as there is not a lot of people at the moment who is looking to buy. So unlike previously, a lot of people were rushing into the market because there were so many incentives why you should be buying the property. So at the moment, it's the greatest, most effective time to buy because we have a declining market. But if you understand how to buy in a declining market using the buy, refurbish, refinance strategy, meaning finding a property that needs work, finding a property that needs refurbishment, finding a property that you can add value to, then yes, absolutely, you can still smash it. A typical case scenario of an example I'm about to share with you is Abby and Femi. So just around about 8 to 6 months ago, Abby and Femi began their buying journey of their very first property. They came to us for education. They came to us to learn. They came to Property Wealth Education to teach them exactly what we do here at Property Education to actually buy properties and add value and get this money out. Within a very short space of time, as you probably will watch in this video, Abby's picture will pop up somewhere, or there's a follow-up link for you to go and watch a full video of how we've interviewed these two amazing individuals who basically bought a property in Newcastle. So they used the buy, refurbish, refinance model. What did they do? They found a property that was bought for £70,000. They invested about £22,000 on the refurb. And just the last couple of weeks ago, this property that they bought for £70,000 and invested about £22,000 on literally gets revalued for £170,000. Now, somewhere around this video, that basic email will pop up just to show you what the properties that actually were. So these two individuals, they bought the property for £70,000, spent about £22,000 on it. Now the property is worth £120,000, and they now went to the lender to release 75% of £120,000. Now the mortgage is £90,000. There's still equity there, which has not been taken out of the balance, which is the difference between £90,000 to £120,000. So basically, they spent a total of about £92,000, all right? And they have not gotten a remortgage at £90,000, which is 75% loan to value of £120,000 using the buy refurbish refinance model. If you calculate it, it means that basically these two amazing individuals have just apparently owned a house almost for free. Now let's talk about what is it being rented for. When we started basically analyzing the deal, our projections that this property will rent for about £650. Again, when this property was completed, the property is now rented for £700, which means £50 extra. Now, what is the mortgage repayment on this particular property? The mortgage repayment on this property is just around about £400 to about £450. So regardless, for a £2,000 to owning a property, these guys will make around about over £200 profit monthly, which is over £2,000 a year. Now, considering the fact that there's been a rising interest rate, considering the fact that this property has been rented out to a family on a single-let basis, and knowing that they only ended up owning this property for just £2,000, guys, what are you waiting for? You can do a deal like Abby, like Femi, how they've been able to do this deal. Exactly what I'm saying now. In this current market, the easiest way to getting into property is to finding properties that you can add value to using the buy, refurbish, refinance model. So don't let the news scare you away. Don't let all the negativity happening right now scare you away of telling you that you can't do it. I'm so excited that in a couple of weeks, I will be interviewing Femi and Abby on this Wealth and Business podcast, which can show you exactly that people taking actions, regardless of what the markets are, that you can still own assets that can produce you cash flow whilst you're waiting for all these different uncertainty in the market, all this calamity, all this negativity. You know, interests are going high. Don't buy property now, buy property later. Listen, the best time to buy a property is now. There's never the perfect time to buy a property. And I say this all the time. The last time to invest in property was 20 years ago. The best time to invest in property was 20 years ago. The best time to invest in property is now. We are now currently in that market. So if you want to learn exactly how Abby and Femi was able to acquire a property, number one, using none of their own money, which was around about £92,000, and now refinancing that property at £120,000 and releasing £90,000 with a £2,000 being left in the deal, what are you waiting for? So, just a quick fire round of my single series. I hope this video makes sense to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next one. If this video makes sense, make sure you click on the link below. There's a free link to one of our masterclass where you can learn exactly how Abby and Femi used other people's money, bought a property for just £2,000 and getting their journey started. And that property will now generate them over £2,000 a year profit up north of England. And you too can do the same. I'm looking forward to sharing you the secrets of how they've done it. I'll see you soon. Take care.